Hey friends, part three. I think according to my outline here, which is one line, just says starting to do it right. So I think what that means is I'm going to tell you what I started to do right finally after all these years of doing things wrong. So I told you a little bit, the backstory. I was a really heavy kid, lost weight the wrong way, basically by walking a lot, which was good. But then uh, by not eating, and when I did eat, I just eat carbohydrates for the most part. So that was not a good thing. It wasn't a calorie reduction. I did burn body fat doing that, but I also stressed my hormones that fast forward 20 years later, hair loss, weight gain again, insulin resistance problems like blood sugar issues, headaches, and things like that, and just a really, 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 really slow metabolism. So raise your hand if you understand slow metabolism, because I was down to 1,700 calories a day, which at the time I was 175 pounds working out for 45 minutes a day and only eating 1,700 calories, which what that really means is um, potential energy, food and calories. We just say, okay, this food equals this many calories, but it doesn't really even work that way because the way they come up with, scientists come up with that is they burn this food and however much energy it produces and changes water 1 degree Celsius, it's called a calorie and blah, blah, blah. But that's not what happens when we eat food. When we eat food, it has all kinds of different physiological effects based on whether it's sugar, carbohydrate, whether there's chemicals in it, whether there's fat in it, and it goes on and on and on. It depends on our digestion. It depends on how much we're putting in at one time. It depends on our stomach acid. So to try to figure out how many calories you should be eating, to me, it's nonsense. So what I started to do right was about 5 months ago. Um, I had been kind of fed up. I was on a ketogenic diet, and the only plants I was eating were some green things like asparagus here and there, artichoke here and there, some romaine lettuce, occasional salsa, but for the most part, I was just eating some protein and fat, a lot of nuts, olive oil or olives, coconut oil, things like that. But for the most part, I got down to just eating a few plants because my stomach was killing me. I was always cold, I was always hungry, my joints hurt, and I wasn't sleeping well. I was model health, obviously, right? And it was frustrating because I'd help other people solve their health issues. People were coming to me that wanted to lose weight, they had insomnia, sex drive issues, chronic pain and migraines. We'd cure that stuff, well, not cure it. We'd improve it significantly within 3 weeks to 6 weeks, and fully resolve typically just about everybody, even autoimmunes and things. And here I was struggling, and I knew I've always been really oversensitive. So raise your hand if you're a oversensitive person like me. Um, but what I realized was, okay, uh, I have all this information. I've tried the A to Z diet, right? You start at Atkins and you end at Zone and you do everything in between. Really, I'd done the 40, 30, 30 zone diet. I'd done Atkins diet back in the day. But nothing ever seemed to really work well for me. And I had this aha moment. I heard Jordan Peterson and his daughter Michaela Peterson talking about their beef saltwater diet. And so then I started looking into this thing called the carnivore diet. And I thought, okay, it was less about, the meat and the fat for me. And at this point, I mean, I'm a very environmentally conscious person. I don't like death. I like things being humanely treated, and not just animals, but plants too. I don't want to see a plant die if it's unnecessary. I don't like death. But birds gotta fly, fish gotta swim, humans gotta eat. So uh, I put that aside and I thought, okay, what is, biologically, historically, what's the best thing for me as a human to be eating here? And I listened to their argument and I said, okay, fine, I'm just gonna drop plants. The last straw actually was I was eating turkey lunch meat, kind of a natural one, and my wife Renee said, hey, come eat at the table. Don't eat like an animal. Because, us guys will just stand there at the counter eating, and everybody went to the table. Well, I didn't want to walk over with a packet of lunch meat, so I said, "Oh, you guys are doing lettuce cups. I'll get the little romaine lettuce cups or butter lettuce or whatever it is, and I'll just put my turkey on there." And I made this, little circle of turkey, and I felt like a big boy, and I had my meal, and I went and sat down, ate the lettuce, and within 10 minutes, my stomach was killing me, and that's all I had eaten that day. I was really busy, and I eat that turkey all the time. I said, "You are kidding me." It's this organic romaine lettuce is killing my stomach right now. So I decided to give up plants. It's been a little over 5 months now, and radical change. I know I'm doing something right now because no gas, rarely have bloating. My bowels went up and down and all over the place and have settled into a nice routine now. Sleeping better, way less pain. I had a really bad sciatica flare up. I've had these since 2010, and usually I am disabled for a couple weeks, and then it's 4 to 6 weeks of being a little gimpy. But pain scale, it goes from like a 7 to a 10 out of 10. There's been times where I'm losing consciousness. I'm in so much pain, I passed out from it. It's bad. It's bad. I'm peeing in a can in bed because I can't get up. Those kind of things. And this time I had a really long flare up. It was basically 3 months, but my pain level never really got that high. It was there, it was messing with me, but I wasn't debilitated. And I thought, huh, I wonder if this has something to do with inflammatory chemicals and things in my diet. But either way, I'll take it. Even though it's been longer, it's either that this was kind of a different variation of my sciatica, or it was really, really bad. That's why it's lasted 3 months now. But it would have normally been 8, 9, 10 surgical candidate, steroids in the spine consult because that's what the doctors want to do, surgery and steroids in the spine, or I'm doing well with my diet. So that's what I mean by I'm starting to do it right. So it's been almost 6 months, been about 5.5 months. I am on an animal-based only diet. I've had, when I was in Italy a few months back, I had pizza once, I had gelato once, I had pasta once, which actually was funny because the carbohydrates seemed to do fine with me. I mean, they'll just fatten me up, but felt great eating those things. One night I ate some green olives and my stomach hurt all night when I was on my Italy trip, Italy and Spain. So I went, and sure enough, as I dabble with things, I made chicken the other day. I used olive oil in the marinade, sick as a dog that night. 2 weeks later, I made chicken again, used avocado oil this time, sick as a dog all night. I have no tolerance for spices and green leafy things. Um, I probably do fine off starch and corn and wheat and rice, but like I said, that affects my hormones and my blood sugar. And so for me, I had a few choices. I could be plump and in pain, or I could be plump and not in pain, or I could be somewhere over here where I'm going for, which is lean and not in pain. And so I'm working towards that, guys. I am a work in progress, but people say, oh my gosh, it's so restrictive. It's so hard. It's so the, I always stop and I go, yeah, but so is being up all night with a stomach ache. So is every time I straighten my arm, my elbow clunking and hurting. So is tendonitis and bursitis and arthritis. That's really hard too. So for me, um, it's not that I'm restricted. It's just I'm simple. Most of my meals are grass-fed ground beef, pastured eggs with a little cheddar or blue cheese on it. That is the bulk of my calories. And boy, it's amazing online things people taking shots at, oh, you're going to get cancer, you're going to get heart disease. Well, great. I appreciate your concern, right? You're so concerned for me, which most people are not, but you probably are because I have a relationship with you. So hopefully you like me or you want me to stay healthy or at least alive so I can keep working on you and your family and your friends. So I'm going to assume you care, but I took that to heart. No pun intended, literally. I spoke to a cardiophysiopathologist. You could go on YouTube and search Professor Bart Kay and Sean Patterson, and you'll see some of our talks. Um, I am a real person with really high cholesterol numbers and LDL numbers that doctors are stressed out saying you need this and you need that. And so I am being professional and I am being responsible and I am using my doctors and talking with them and letting them know where I don't agree or I don't understand something or the data says this and that. But what I'm coming to find out is number one, cholesterol is necessary for life and it's very good for us. There's high cholesterol doesn't cause death. And then it was LDL is going to cause. No, LDL doesn't cause death either. You guys, our genes know what they're doing. We make most of our cholesterol in our liver. Cholesterol is what our brain's made of and every cell in our body's made of. The problem has never been cholesterol. The problem is mixing cholesterol, fat basically, with sugar, okay, fat and sugar. When you mix fat and sugar, this is an inflammatory effect. The sugar glycolates. It creates basically it's just damaged molecules that will open up the arterial walls. Those opened arterial walls, those loose gap junctions, um, get filled and they get scar tissue and they get plaqued up and that's the enemy. So I'm not doing that because I'm not eating the sugar. Um, and my body's rewarding me for it. I feel good. I'm 49 years old. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting leaner. I'm having less pain. And I mean, my eyesight is great. I mean, I have no senility aging problems, right? I'm trying to anti-age. I'm trying to roll back the clock to what I normally would feel like and look like if I didn't have so much stress and poor diet through my teens, 20s, 30s. Okay, so that's what I have for today. That's me starting to do it right. I'm eating more of an animal-based diet. It's really tricky, you guys. If you don't work with me and don't communicate with me, I don't know what's best for you. Sometimes it takes weeks, if not months, to figure out what's best for somebody. Sometimes it takes years. So I don't want you to watch a video like this and say, oh, he did it, so I'm going to do it, or he's saying I should be carnivore and no plants. For me, I have very little tolerance for certain plants. I don't know what your deal is. I'll help you find out if you'd like. But to do that, you got to reach out and say, hey, I want some help here. Otherwise, just take this as information. And I'm sure, you'll understand what I'm doing and you can apply some of these things to your life. Um, Next time I'm going to talk to you about what I didn't know and how it was hurting me, or what I didn't know and how I was leaving so much healing on the table that I didn't even know was there. So I'm doing things now that I wasn't doing that I didn't even have on my radar a year ago, and I stopped doing some things that I've been doing for years, thinking I was doing something good for myself, right? Like for me, running, sit-ups, calorie counting, light hygiene, what happens when the sun sets, my morning routine, things like that. We'll talk more about that next time. Um, what I didn't know is hurting me, and what I didn't know could be helping me that I was oblivious to. So I'll talk about those things next time. That'll be part 4. I appreciate you guys going on this slow journey with me, but my goal is for you to pick up little gems, things to consider, names that I drop on these videos. You go listen to these people, you get a network of people that are supporting you, and they are alternative to what you've been doing that hasn't been working. All right, once again, please forward this to your friends. Please follow me on social media. That's how I can get the word out. That's how I build my brand, which is just trying to help people become the CEOs of their own life, right? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, that's not my deal. That's not my deal. I got friends for that. But physically, I want to help people anti-age and not fall into this trap of senility. We are supposed to go strong to 80, 90, 100 years old, not just survive, but go strong. All right, guys, I appreciate your time, and I'll look forward to next time. Bye bye.